We have covered more than a few live albums on the channel, but today I'm going to talk about specific tracks where I think the live version absolutely kills the studio version, coming right up. Hey, it's Russ from the Infectious Groove podcast and YouTube channel. And live albums are very, very, very divisive. Some people absolutely love them. Some people really could take or leave them, and some people absolutely would leave them. Me personally, I've always loved live albums. We actually have a couple of different videos on the channel about great live albums, so you can go back and check those out if you want. But today I'm going to talk about 5 specific versions of songs, and I'll tell you where to find them that I think, like, whether or not you love live albums or not, and even if the rest of this particular live album isn't great, this particular version of this song, I think, destroys the original studio version of it. First one up on my list is Eric Clapton, Wonderful Tonight, but the version from the 24 Nights album. For me, just the slower, slightly slower pace of it, the backing vocals from P.P. Arnold, the perfect guitar tone that Clapton had in the early 90s. That version, Wonderful Tonight from 24 Nights, in my opinion, absolutely kills the original studio version. Next up, and this one might seem like a little sacrilege because the person who wrote the song isn't on this version, but that's Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb from Pulse. And honestly, you could take either Delicate Sound of Thunder or Pulse, in my opinion. Both albums are missing Roger Waters on there, but the way that the verse vocals are done a little bit different and a little more, aggressive and sadistic, which if you really know the story of the song, I feel like that lends itself better. And then, of course, Gilmour's original solo, which is always ranked high on, best solos of all time. Delicate Sound of Thunder, and then even Pulse is even better. He totally outdoes himself with a lengthy version of what you find on the original studio version. Up next, Prince, Nothing Compares to You. Really, any live version of Nothing Compares to You, in my opinion, destroys the original studio version that he cut back in the day, and certainly the one that was first commercially released by the Family. I would direct you toward one specific version, though, and to my knowledge, the only commercial release of it is on the Prince Hits package, which is called Prince Hits 1, and the song on there is done as a duet with Rosie Gaines, who you might know from Diamonds and Pearls or Get Off, that era of the New Power generation. The duet version of Nothing Compares to You, in my opinion, is the version of the song, and it absolutely destroys the version that Prince laid down in the studio. Next up is one that I think for this live album, I think every version of every song on this live album is as good or better than the studio version. But in the harder rock side of things, Ozzy Osbourne has a live album, and the track I want to zero in on is Shot in the Dark, which is slightly faster than the original version, and it's like a half step higher, and Zakk Wylde lays down an enormous and awesome outro solo that is completely devoid from the original, and all the way across the board. If you like Shot in the Dark by Ozzy, check out the version on Live and Loud, because I think it destroys the studio version. Last one I'm going to go with is completely different direction than really anything I've gone with so far. And if you like this song, or if you like or don't like this artist, I would tell you to still check out this version of this song, and that's Possession by Sarah McLachlan, and the version from the Mirror Ball live album. And again, like Ozzy, there's a few tracks on here that I think are better than the original, but Possession specifically, if you really listen to the lyrics of that song and know how many people have misheard or mistaken that song, the aggression that's on that live version really fits the lyrics, in my opinion. So those are 5 of tracks that I think are far better live versions than the studio versions of these songs. But by all means, share in the comments below some live albums or live tracks that you think are better. Maybe there's versions out there that I'm not even aware of or haven't heard. We always love to have the comments in the section below below to interact with. And if you have a video idea, throw one down there as well. As we always say, thank you so much for watching.